Hi, this is Rabbi Jeremy Lawrence from the Great Synagogue in Sydney. This week we read Parshat Yitro and the tale of the giving of the Ten Commandments atop Sinai. The Ten Commandments are iconic. We recognize them immediately. They exist as a symbol of the Jewish faith, but have been appropriated widely as an emblem of morality and justice. In fact, the image, which is so familiar, has no basis in the Jewish tradition. The two arched tablets of stone first appeared in the Middle Ages, and as a Christian representation. The Talmud suggests that each of the tablets was rectangular and about 3 by 6 handbreadths. We're also used to the idea that the Ten Commandments were divided between the two tablets. The first 5 commandments, which are essentially about God and the creation, on the one tablet, and the second 5, which are about interpersonal relationships, on the other. Honoring our parents is a bridging mitzvah. Through our honoring our immediate physical creators, we learn to honor the spiritual originator of all matter. However, according to some traditions, the two tablets were identical, and each bore the entire Decalogue. Written by God, according to tradition, the letters were engraved so that they cut through the entire tablets. Miraculously, the middles of the letters were suspended without falling, and miraculously, when the tablets were rotated, they read correctly, and not back to front. Of course, the first tablets were shattered by Moses in the aftermath of the golden calf, and the second set, fashioned by Moses, lacked these special properties. Aside from the fact that these 10 principles were selected by God for revelation at Sinai, there's nothing to indicate that they are more important than any of the others amongst the Torah's 613 commandments. The Talmud records that the 10 commandments used to be recited daily in the morning prayers, but that this practice was ended after these 10 mitzvot were misrepresented as the top 10, with everything else being of lesser importance. In fact, within the Bible and commentary, there are a number of core statements of Jewish doctrine. Rabbi Akiva identified, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself," as the underpinning principle. The Talmud records his contemporary, Ben Azai, as preferring the verse in Genesis, "This is the book of the generations of man." This is the book of the generations of man? Really? This needs some explanation. While Rabbi Akiva's verse was addressed to the Jewish people, Ben Azai's highlights a spiritual common heritage of all humanity. The Gemara also cites Rabbi Simlai, who said that the Torah taught 613 mitzvot to Moses. King David reduced them to 11. Isaiah condensed them to 6, and the prophet Micah to just 3. What does the Lord God require of you but to do justice, love goodness, and walk humbly with your God? What we see here is not a contradiction, but a complement. The individual laws are of great importance. They define our responsibilities and create a framework for living. However, legal teachings do not stand alone. They are contextualized by values of love, justice, and respect for the dignity of every soul. It's important to be true to the teachings of our Torah. Revelation at Sinai taught the entire people that God's law has a special, inimitable quality. But as we revere the letters of the law, we should be no less scrupulous about the values. Walking humbly with God entails integrity and civility. To be godly is not to be arrogant or aloof. It is about the love of our fellow and celebrating the presence of God in all his creation. This is Rabbi Jeremy Lawrence from the Great Synagogue in Sydney, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom.